What's up, guys? I'm going to do a quick update. I'm going to try and keep it as quick and to the point as possible. So since our last video, we clearly just kind of went up only. Didn't follow the path back to like the 42.6 or the 41K. You scratch that, we might still go down there, but we will see. Um, and it wasn't really much of a battle either. If we broke 45.5K, right, we would just moon right through it. And if you look at the 15-minute candle for when we first tapped it, that is exactly what we did. So just went and smashed up an extra $1,200, ended up closing 46.1 and never went below like 45.9 on that run up. Now looking at this 15-minute here, I'm starting to see a little bit of exhaustion, as you can see. You know, with the common coloring indicator that you guys have, you can notice that as well. So like, these were turning red, yellow the whole way up, turn green a little bit, yellow again. So I really don't expect us to go above like this 48.3K level. I could see us maybe tapping it like a wick like this did, or something like that. I don't really see us going higher than that just yet. I think we need some time to consolidate. That would make the most sense to me. Um, unless we really are just extremely bullish and we just pass right through 50K, which is very possible. You know, we'll see. I'm still long on mostly everything. Atoms, Solana, spot long, that is, ETH. Um, ETH, the same thing. This is the 15-minute, is honestly pretty beautiful. Like, I have this trend line from literally like November, bro. So yeah, from the tippy top of like 48.50 in November, just carrying it here. And just funny to see, even on a 15-minute time frame, how price respects that level. So the first time we tapped it here, I guess that was what, Friday, the 25th. You know, ranged a little bit, tapped it one more time, broke, and then a flip. Didn't exactly, but you could see, bang. So pretty crazy to see ETH back at 33.70. It was at 23.70 only maybe 5-6 weeks ago. So great to see. So Solana back above my trend that I know I'm always talking about. Glad we closed. I closed that short 97.30, literally pretty much at the bottom. It was 70%, but I'm glad I did that. But here, okay, we're clearly back above the trend. 114 was the same resistance we were having back here when we first longed off the trend from like 90 to 114. I want to see that break, and I want to see it break quickly. I don't even want to see too much price action here, because that's exactly what we had uh, over here before we kind of like rejected. Like, you thought we were going to flip it as support, and this ended up treating it as resistance, failing and going even lower. We broke that low on that way down. So $75 that got bought up immediately, but nevertheless, like, you don't want this exact same price action. You want to kind of just soar right to like 129. If we are as bullish as everyone claims, that shouldn't be a problem. It's only what, 10-12% day. So yeah, let's look at the weekly. So the weekly closed yesterday right around 106, has since pumped all the way to 114, back down to 110 now. It doesn't look half bad. The only thing that scares me is like these two candles here, and it was also the low back in September. This 114 level is a big level we need to flip, and we've already started the weekly off of rejecting it. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's literally just Monday morning, but you do want to see us get above it and hold above it for the next week. just because we get above it, let's say, tomorrow, and it spends the entire week like rejecting 129. Let's say that happens, for example. Um, doesn't mean that it can't go all the way back down before the weekly close, like Bitcoin did here on February 28th. We were at 45K and it just got sent the whole way down. Ended up closing at 37 point, I guess 38.3 to where it closed. So, um, yeah. I mean, obviously, the weekly isn't going to help you, on intraday scalps. It's really only going to help you, understanding the trend. You don't want to be battling the trend. If we're going up, you don't want to be looking for shorts because you're just going to keep getting blown out. You have no idea how much we could actually pump. Just like how a couple months ago, when everything was clearly in a bear market, everything kept going down, and you didn't want to be looking for longs because you did not know how low everything was going to go. So, the trend is clearly bullish. We broke 45.5. We're already $2,000 above that level, sitting at 47.4 now. So only be looking for longs. It's going to definitely increase your profitability. I know we've been used to trying to short everything. I have as well over the past couple weeks, months, since January, and they were printing, but that time is over, in my opinion. We might get a nuke and stuff like that. There'll always be nukes, even in bull markets, um, but they usually get bought back up pretty quickly. So even Bitcoin, I guess, from Friday, we were ranging in here. We thought this was a nuke from 45.1 down to 44, but all it was a little bit of consolidation, flipped the level, and ended up just soaring past it. So anyone who shorted here and didn't take profit just got blown out right there. Like, you know what I mean? You just either you had a stop loss or you just been sitting and thinking it's going to go back down towards your break even and it keeps going higher. So you don't want that to happen to you. Don't be looking for shorts. If you do, have very conservative targets for your profit taking. Nothing wrong with shorts when we're up at a top like this. You know what I mean? Just scale into a low leveraged one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket that we're going down. Um, think of it more as a hedge for your spot holdings. So if you're holding, I don't know, one Bitcoin in your portfolio, you can go short one Bitcoin. You know what I mean? A 1x leverage, or I don't know, 2x. When you're working with 40, 50K in a trading account, you're looking at position size, not necessarily leverage. Because 20x with 50K is still $1 million. If it goes against you, 3%, um, you know, your money's gone, essentially. So what I'm trying to say is, yeah, just do like a 2, 3x short, you know, low risk to you. But if it does go down, obviously you're losing money because you're all in spot Bitcoin. But you've been using that collateral in a short, so you're actually making money and making more Bitcoin. You can use the PNL you've gathered from that short to buy more Bitcoin, and that is essentially the goal. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. I didn't see any really chart requests besides Adam. I will go over Adam. I know I said to go long for a scalp last Friday. Pretty much closed all of it immediately. Since then, it's bounced a good few times, but this is decent price action to play because you know we're just bouncing from 27.50 like to $29 basically. Short, long, short, long, short, long. Here you would have gotten maybe blown out if you didn't, have a stop loss. Shorted, blown out, ends up going back down to your long entry. You long, same thing, and now here we go. I know that's a little stupid and confusing for me to say, but it's important to pay attention to that kind of price action. Now it's 10% up from that 27.50 level. So now I'm eyeing up $32. That's kind of like the level I want to see it actually break above. Again, really bullish on Atom for the year to come. It's only the end of the first quarter. I mean, that weekly could close really green still, and that's starting to build some momentum here. Nice solid weekly close we had yesterday. Let's do the same thing this week. Get above 32, and then a shot at all-time high is very possible. So yeah, that's kind of what I would be looking for. If you're looking for an entry, if you're not in spot and you're looking for an actual like long entry, um, the 2750 level is obviously where I want to long or start easing in. If we did get a nuke, I would want 2650 would be incredible. I wouldn't have my stop too tight just because I'm not too sure. You wouldn't really want it to go above these levels here, but that's 10%. You know what I mean? You don't really want to risk 10% on one entry. So it's kind of like a manual thing. You just want to pay attention to it. Um, Maybe only go 1x there, 1x here, 1x there. Who knows? We might not even get that dip. Um, it is possible that we have to go back down to like a 2 hour that I was just on before. And, this range that we've been bouncing on over and over again, as you can see here, we kind of flipped it as support. So, maybe that's the entry, but you don't want it. Price action wouldn't make too much bullish sense if it did retrace the entire move after flipping it. You know what I mean? You'd have to wait. Okay, so my main thing is we get above 32, start holding it, go long at 32, targeting like 37 again, right? Or we just kind of range within here as we were doing here, between $32 and 28. That would be interesting as well. You could just do the same exact strategy, long, short, etc. But I would love to get in around 2650, which is this mid range here. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where I'd like to hold a long going into like weeks, not just a daily scalp, but more of something I'm going to hold for a week or two, maybe more, would be $26, 2650. So hopefully that makes sense. We'll take a little snapshot of that. But yeah, I'm going to try and do updates as, daily because, stuff's starting to get very interesting. I know everyone's been asking for um, a sub account challenge, and I'm more than happy to start doing that. I've been making a lot of money the past week. Um, I can set 10K, but everyone needs to know that when you're doing a sub account challenge like that, in order to see those kind of returns, there's only two scenarios. So one, you get in at the exact bottom and you don't add in too much like on the way up. Like clearly you have to add size on the way up, right? Um, but you just have to do it carefully. So you need to know when risk on at resistance, risk off at resistance, and then risk back on at support, kind of thing like that. Like you can add them there. You can see, all right, risk off here, risk back on, flipping the trend. Up here, risk on, risk off. Holding the comma coloring line. All right, we could maybe use that risk on, kind of thing like that. It's something you need to constantly manage. There's not like constant trades every single day. That's how you get blown out, to be honest. The more trades you take, the higher rate you are going to just blow out your account and not being profitable. You want to be taking the least amount of trades as possible, but you want each one of them to be, something that could drastically change your account. I mean, it has to be thought out, you know, like I've done even with Serum and other trades I've told you guys about LRC, like days in advance. And then when you catch, your 20x long and you catch a 20, 30, 40% day, that's all you need to actually, one good trade will just blow up the account in a good way. um, you know, skyrocket the account to the point where you can feel comfortable in these positions, with reducing the leverage. So, yeah, it's very risky. All right. There's no like real way for me to either, say every single thing I'm going to do as well. Cause sometimes it's in an instant, what I mean? You have to, and by the time I go and type it, maybe the price has changed 1% or whatever. Um, Everyone gets mad at me. Oh, why didn't you tell us? I'm like, I'm trying to be like, I'm also trading at the same time. So it's difficult to always be, um, immediate with typing out and sending the photo and whether I'm on my computer or not. Um, but yeah, the main thing is to really make out the plans. So I know last week I said LRC. There you go. That is a trade. It is up from my call when I told you to long 86%. So one trade like that, bro, even I know not everyone likes to use 20x, but if you're gonna do a sub account challenge and you want to have those high goals, that's you need to be using 10x, you know, at least minimum. Otherwise, you're not going to see these crazy returns because all you really need is one good trade like this. You could spend your time scalping all day long on, and winning some, losing some, winning some, losing some. But all you need to do is follow this one trade. I don't know. You have $1,000 in your account. You did, I don't know, a 10x, right? So 10x with $1,000 account here. I mean, it was only really the 17th, 18th. It was only about a week ago, a little bit more, right? I mean, you could have sold it here and still made a ton of money. But just for example, you held it. The target was 140 all along. So let's say $1,000. You roughly did about $10,000 worth of LRC. It has pumped 85%. You've turned your $1,000 into about 9 grand in a little over a week with one trade that I put in Barney Trades, with not even that high leverage, in my opinion. 10x isn't that high. Uh, Usually, when I'm doing a Degen account, it's 20x minimum. But my success rate is pretty high. I have gotten blown out before. When you start, it's inevitable when you're using leverage that high. Um, but that's just something you need to be prepared for if you're wanting to follow along with that. But this, for example, is a perfect example of one good trade with a little bit of leverage. If it does a 2x in 1 week, then whatever you were leveraged long at, that position size you've made, you've 10x an account. And maybe you had 10 grand in your account and you made 90 instead. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the crazy difference there. You're only using 1,000, which is a good place to start off at. Don't get me wrong. I want you to start off with 1,000 because I don't want you to be losing 10 and then freaking out. But hopefully that makes sense. So even okay, LRC, there was also Serum. I mean, I've been saying that for a while. Um, I guess add a couple more squigglies here, but essentially the same thing. Um, yeah, 167 to 318. It's another 2x, I believe. Yeah, 86%. So it's those type of trades that you hold while leveraged long that are going to make you the money. The only way you can make that much money is by holding something 30, 40% and maybe even adding back on at support. Like that's like I did with Doge, like I did with Solana. Um, you know what I mean? So don't waste this price action. These lows. You guys know me. I've been bullish the entire time, um, with a couple shorts in there in between. But overall, looking at Bitcoin longs, which are starting to close, by the way, but that's a good sign, meaning that it's the start of they filled their bags, and you know it is a good sign. It'll continue to go up like it did in September. It's the same exact price action, but I do want to see it go higher, to be honest, because it's not as high as it was back in September, right? So Bitcoin longs here. Okay, this was like the start of the bull market 2.0, the 27th, and then it just shot all the way down in, I guess, a week, down to 27,000 open interest by October 14th. And then the high was kind of put in by, you know, November, the beginning of November, right? So, yeah, they've been building up this entire time, even from here, November 17th, when we were still at like 57,000. So interesting to see. Yeah, I'd like to see it go higher before they start closing, which I think it will. Shorts are still low as fuck. No one's opening shorts. It's just all market buying along above 47,000. So love to see it. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video. I fucking always end up making them longer than I say I'm going to in the beginning, but I try and include as much alpha as possible so everyone has a good understanding of what's going on. All right, so I'm gonna end it. Upload it soon. Peace, guys.